Hi everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with an updated Solana analysis for you. This is number 2 in the vote. My Elliott Wave count remains the same, and my last analysis saw intermediate 2 over at this low and was expecting upward movement, and that's exactly what's happening. So the Elliott Wave count is playing out perfectly so far. I see a cycle degree first wave over here. It subdivides beautifully as a 5-wave impulse with primary 1, primary 2, a deep zigzag, primary 3, a long extension, primary 4, a shallow triangle, beautiful alternation between 2 and 4 and really nice proportions. So it gives this part of the wave count the right look. And then primary wave 5 is 4.158 times the length of primary 3. So I'd consider a Fibonacci ratio of 4.236 for a 5th wave for Solana coming up for primary 5 within cycle 3. Can't do that yet, can't do that until I know where 3 and 4 end and 5 begins, but I'll consider it in the future. After cycle wave 1, 5 steps forward, and there's a 3-step back pattern here, labelled cycle wave 2. It subdivides nicely as a double zigzag. The first zigzag is labelled primary W. The double is joined by a brief shallow 3 in the opposite direction, and the second zigzag, primary Y, subdivides really nicely. And there's a nice V bottom formed down here. There's a lot of strength up off this low, so I have some reasonable confidence that the lower $8.14 is quite likely to hold for years to come. If 2 is over there, then 3 should have begun. It may only subdivide as an impulse, and that'll be labelled primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I've got this wave count right, it's extremely likely that cycle 3 will be a long extension. Third waves within cryptos are almost always long extensions. Within cycle wave 1, primary 3 was 12.887 times the length of primary wave 1. If we see that same ratio here between cycle waves 1 and 3, then a target would be 3370.996. Now, I'm not going to use that for my own purposes, and I did buy some Solana a while ago, but I just want to use it for an idea of what's possible for this market. It's done it before, it could do it again at a higher fractal, at cycle degree rather than primary. That's entirely possible. When third waves extend for crypto, they tend to start out a little bit slowly with deep time-consuming second waves. They accelerate through the middle and they absolutely explode at the end. And there can be more than one explosion or blow off top along the way up. I will expect the 5th waves to end one or more of intermediate 3, primary 3, and definitely cycle 3. I'll expect these 5th waves to be very strong vertical upward movements like this here. I'll expect 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of vertical upward movement is quite likely to end these third wave impulses. Within cycle wave 3, if primary 2 is not over, if it continues further, it may not move below the start of primary 1, below 8.14, although I think, to be honest, I could probably pull the invalidation point up here to the end of intermediate 2 now that prices move comfortably above the end of intermediate 1. So I'm going to pull it up here to 17.461. Let's take a look at the daily chart. I'm going to work on that with you. I think we're going to go from the low here of primary 2. Yeah, here's the end of primary 2. So I'm going to get some labels in here. I'm going to show you how I use Motive Wave to put Elliott Wave labels on. And if you want to learn to do Elliott Wave like I'm doing here, I've got an online course that's on special this week, 38% off. Yeah, I'm going to put that there. Now, you might not agree with me with that, but that looks normal to me. Let's see if this subdivides well. Oh, no, actually, hang on. This is better. Okay. And let's put this here. Yeah, okay. And now is this going to subdivide as an impulse well? Just going to check that 4 doesn't overlap into 1. Not convinced about the end of 4 there. Actually, I am going to put this here, like here. And then if I put this here, now minute 5 of minor 3 subdivides as an extension. Yeah, I like that better. That has a pretty good fit. Okay, so what is intermediate wave 2? I think it looks like it could be a double zigzag. Let's try that. Looks most likely. The most common structure for second waves are single zigzags, and then the next most common is a double zigzag. Double zigzags are actually really common, but I don't know how the second zigzag here is going to subdivide. I don't think this is going to work. Let's just expand that out so I can see what I'm doing here. No, I don't want to label B over here, because then it would have a truncation. It would be a very rare running flat. So let's label B over here, and this isn't going to work. Okay, let's try a single zigzag, and we might have an extension in there. No, don't want to put A there because it's a three-wave structure then. Don't want to put B there. It would have ended with a truncation, so it would be a very rare running flat. Let's try C. Oh, this is going to be awful. Okay, is this fifth wave an ending diagonal? No, it doesn't work. 4 is shorter than 2, but 3 is longer than 1, and 5 is longer than 3, so it's neither expanding nor contracting. Okay, it doesn't work as a single, doesn't work as a double. Let's try a triple. Process of elimination. So we'd have the first zigzag here, that's fine, X. Second zigzag here. I want to put this here, but then it's a running flat. C is truncated by just a small amount. I don't like wave counts with running flats. They're so rare. Everything else fits so well though. And now we could see a triangle in here. I think there's a nice triangle for a B wave in there. I don't know, that actually doesn't look that good. Maybe it's some kind of combination. I think I'm going to leave that as it is actually, and just have that running flat with that very slightly truncated C wave, because everything else fits and I can't see another explanation. So process of elimination, that's what I'm going to label it as, a triple zigzag with a running flat. Not the most common situation, but it fits. So okay, I'm wondering if it's too early. Yeah, it probably is too early to pull the invalidation point up here. Let's get some labels with an intermediate 3 and see where we can pull the invalidation point up to. No, I don't think the middle of the third wave is over yet. It's just got such a long way to go. I don't like the look of this here. That looks like a three-wave structure, so pull that down. This is a pretty good vertical upward movement. No, I would want to put that here. Oh, I would want to actually put that here. How many multiples is that? It's only 2.14. I think it's too early. Looking at this on the weekly chart, to see the middle of the third wave over here, that's just no. No, that is just way too short. What if I move the degree of labelling here down 1 degree and see this is an incomplete minor wave 1? But no, I would rather want to see it over there. I think maybe what I'm going to do is just move the degree of labelling here down. Okay, so we can pull the invalidation point up to here, 21.068972, because if minuet 2 is not over, and I've got this part of it wrong, and it can move beyond the start of 1, oh, that's too far away to be of much use though, isn't it? Could almost pull it up to here really, or you could put it, yeah, let's leave it here. Minute 4 to come may not move into minute 1 price territory. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now let's get a channel around it. So I've drawn an acceleration channel from the end of minute 1 to the last high, placed a copy on the end of, or the low of minute 2. As price continues higher, keep redrawing the channel exactly as I've described. When minute 3 is over, the channel would then be drawn using Elliott's first technique and may show where minute 4 to come may find support around the lower edge. We may have to redraw the channel to be more steep though. If it's very steep, then it loses its technical significance. It may show where the fourth wave ends, but if it gets very steep, it may not work so well. But we need to try a channel anyway, so that's how I'm going to do it. Let's look at some technicals and see if there's support or not for this Elliott wave count. On the weekly chart, up off the low of December 2022, there's a strong bullish engulfing candlestick pattern, and this candlestick on the weekly chart has a bullish long lower wick. I don't think it's long enough for it to be a hammer, but a bullish engulfing pattern is the strongest bullish reversal pattern, and it has pushed from volume compared to the previous several weeks. So that is a strong bullish signal that supports the view that this low may well be sustained. Price moved sideways in a consolidation in the last couple of 3 weeks ago. It broke above what was resistance at 26. It's now moving higher. Look out for next resistance about 50. You could see a head and shoulders pattern here. Here would be the head, the left hand shoulder, the right hand shoulder. I'm not going to do it though, because I think the trend line would be a little bit too steeply sloped. You really do need to draw your trend line across those armpits, the points between the shoulder, actually, which should be here, the shoulder and the head, the head and the shoulder. So across here, price broke through, came to back test, it's moving up and away. Let's do a quick calculation of what the target for my head and shoulders would be. I get a target at 39.674, so I guess that's pretty useful. Let's put that in. So that target from this inverted head and shoulders hasn't been met, so we can still use that. That would still be in effect. If price reaches 39.674 and just keeps on going, next resistance reasonable is about 50. Price is moving higher for the last couple of weeks with good push from volume. This is really good to see, and there was strong volume up off the low. On balance volume had a highly technically significant range that was just broken above last week. This line has multiple tests. It is long held and it is close to horizontal. It has really strong technical significance, so this is a strong bullish signal from on balance volume, and because it's at the weekly time frame, I will give that a lot of weight. ADX is getting really close to giving us the strongest signal it can give. It's coming from low levels, it's rising up from below both DX lines. If the black ADX line reaches 15, then it will tell us there's a new upward trend in a very early stage. And as this is at the weekly time frame, I would give that a lot of weight. So watch ADX carefully. If it gets to 15, reaches above that and still has a positive slope, that's a very, very bullish signal. RSI is not overbought. There's plenty of distance to go before that gets as deeply overbought as it can get. Look how deeply overbought it can get early on in a trend, and then exhibit divergence before the trend ends. So there's a ways to go before this is as extreme as it can get. Money flow also neutral, not overbought. Stochastics nearing overbought, still in neutral territory. A ways to go before price reaches resistance and stochastics reaches overbought. I'm going to leave it there for Solana, just weekly technicals, because I think right now with what's happening, being it's so bullish, I think it's best to step back and keep an eye on the bigger picture for this one. This is a very, very bullish technicals and a very bullish Elliott Wave count. That's it for me today with Solana update for you, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and make a comment, because all of your engagement helps my YouTube channel grow.